What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Three Arrows Capital is in some trouble, and they're in some big trouble. And can they get out of it? It doesn't look like it. I think Three Arrows Capital Corporation, I think they're dead. But first, your change your perspective thought of the day. Taking other people's opinions of others with a grain of salt. When I sold magazines without fail, there would always be somebody that would say that that person across the street, they're a real a-hole. Don't go knocking on that door. And I'd knock on the next door. You know that person over there, they're a real a-hole. Don't go knocking on their door. Okay, well, at the end of the day, I've knocked on every single door. I've had a horrible day. I hadn't sold a single magazine. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. What could go wrong? Let me go knock on that door that everybody says is an a-hole. Knock on that door and, my gosh, they're nice. They're engaging. They're inviting, they're listening, and they bought a magazine. And they didn't buy a magazine because they actually wanted the magazine. They bought a magazine because they saw that I was struggling, I was having a horrible day, and they just wanted to do something nice. So what happened to them being an a-hole? Sometimes people act differently on certain days. Maybe they just had a bad day. Maybe their grandma just died. Maybe their dog just died. Maybe their toilet just got clogged. Who knows what the situation is? But when we ourselves are having a bad day and kind of pipe off, and maybe we shouldn't have, and everybody else is looking at us like we're an a-hole, we would want to be afforded the opportunity to say, hey, I'm not really that way all the time. It was just a fluke. So we should also afford those as well. And part of doing that is when people have an opinion of someone else, sure, listen to it because that's how we learn. But form your own opinion. And quit believing everybody else. Just food for thought. So Three Arrows Capital Corporation is going into liquidation, according to an insider source who anonymously spoke to CNBC. We'll find out soon enough. According to this anonymous source, the restructuring group Teneo is getting involved. They're going to look at Three Arrows Capital Corporation's assets, see what they hold, and then within a week or so, set up a website so that way creditors can make any necessary claims they so choose. Now, the unwinding of 3AC has kind of made people wonder about the Contagion Effect. Three Arrows Capital Corporation, I mean, boy, the timing is just horrible. I'll tell you what. But then again, there is that old phrase, when the tide goes out, you know who's been swimming without their trunks on. When there's no money available, we know who's in trouble. I mean, if you're floating in a sea and the water represents cash and you're just floating in a sea of cash and your investors need some cash, you're floating in a sea of cash. You can reach out, grab some cash, throw it at your investors and say, there you go. See, I told you we had good assets. I told you we were covered. But when that cash flow dries up and the liquidity goes away and that sea of cash goes less and your investors come running around saying, well, it's hard times. We need to be paid. You reach out and you grab thin air and you've got nothing. It's easy to pull a scam when the market's green. I mean, you've got cash everywhere. You're surrounded by it. But when the market's red, well, that's when we find out who's been fibbing a little bit. A lot of other cryptocurrencies have faced liquidity issues. I am not cutting that out. I am infinitely flawed. You're just going to have to deal with it. I am not perfect. A lot of other cryptocurrencies have entered liquidity as well. Lending from Celsius and cryptocurrency exchange CoinFlex were paused. They were paused, citing extreme market conditions. Okay. Extreme market conditions. Well, Algorand has never paused any trading or anything like that, and I get it. Algorand isn't a hedge fund. It's different. But still, the market's down. This is a good time. Why are you fretting? Did you invest more than you could lose? Is that why you're fretting? I like when the market's down. It reveals all those clowns. Let them go home. Because after the market's down, guess what? The market goes up. Three Arrows Capital Corporation liquidation, if this anonymous source is true, and we find out in a week that there's a website for creditors to place their claims, well, I believe it is going to have that contagion effect. It is going to affect the market. It gives the market a bad name. Every single time we have one of these projects that says that they are backed, they have a basket of goods, they are fully backed by whatever it is. It's a one-to-one, and then we find out that they're lying. It affects the market. It affects new people who want to go in the market. Imagine this. You're going to a store and everybody's told you that the store has some great stuff and it's a good price and you want to go pick it up, and you walk in the store and everybody's running around like, I just bought this shirt and it has a hole in it and now I can't get a return. These shoes right here, the soles fell off. And you hear all this bad stuff about the store. Are you still going to shop there? No, you're not. Which is why we need regulation. We need some sort of a basis to say, hey, this is the bar, and you can't go any lower than that bar. You can't deprive people of their hard-earned money and their assets in order to line your own pockets nefariously under bad circumstances. Just my opinions. Questions, comments, concerns. I love the engagements. And I will see you guys on the next one.